Welcome everyone. Imagine being an elite soldier, trained to survive anything. And yet, in just a few seconds, watching your entire life fall apart. A mission goes wrong, an irreversible choice, and a mistake that will destroy innocent lives. But the worst part isn't what happens on the battlefield. It's what comes after. A broken man, hunted by the military, haunted by his own actions, trying to survive on the streets, while running from a past he can never escape. Until one day, a single encounter changes everything, and a disappearance awakens something far more dangerous inside him. Can guilt ever be erased? Can you truly redeem yourself after the unforgivable? And how far can you go when you have nothing left to lose? Today, we dive into the story of a man willing to do anything, even become the monster he was trying to escape. Here is the full recap of the movie Crazy Joe. Warning, spoilers ahead. The film opens by throwing us straight into the action alongside Jason, a special forces soldier on a mission in Afghanistan. As their armored vehicle moves forward, everything suddenly takes a turn. They walk right into an ambush. In the chaos of the attack, Jason manages to survive, but at the cost of a trauma that will never leave him. Helpless, he watches his 5 teammates get brutally killed right in front of him. Completely overwhelmed by anger and confusion, he loses control. In a moment of blind rage, he fires back without thinking, killing 5 civilians, wrongly believing they were the attackers. This tragic incident doesn't go unnoticed. The entire scene is captured by a military drone. As a result, Jason is brought before a military tribunal. But while undergoing psychological treatment in a hospital, he takes advantage of a brief lapse in supervision and escapes, completely slipping away from the Army's control. 1 year later, nothing has gotten better. In fact, it's worse. Jason is still haunted by everything he went through. Every single day, he struggles with severe PTSD and an overwhelming sense of guilt. Now, he lives on the streets, homeless, trying to drown his pain in alcohol. It's in this state that he befriends a young homeless girl named Isabel. The two of them, left with nothing, look out for each other, just trying to survive in a harsh world. But one day, their fragile balance is shattered. 2 thugs approach them and try to extort money. The situation escalates quickly. After a tense confrontation, Jason has no choice but to run. He climbs up to the rooftop of a building, desperately searching for a way out, before breaking into the apartment below to escape his pursuers. He eventually manages to get away. But Isabel, the one he was trying so hard to protect, is taken by the thugs. Alone in the empty apartment, Jason is forced to face himself. Standing in front of a mirror, he sees his reflection, exhausted, unkempt, almost unrecognizable. Overwhelmed by shame, anger, and despair, he decides to take control. He cleans himself up, cuts his messy hair, and puts on the owner's expensive clothes. In just a few moments, his appearance completely changes, and he starts to look like the man he used to be. As he's about to leave, the landline suddenly rings. Checking the voicemail, Jason learns that the apartment's owner is currently in the United States and won't be back until October, while it's only February. That's when it hits him. He's just found a place to stay, a place where he can live for free, for almost 8 months. Digging a little deeper, he finds a bank card along with the PIN code in the mail near the door. Without hesitation, he heads to an ATM to withdraw cash. Deep down, Jason hopes this could be his chance to start over, to get a fresh beginning. But the moment he starts to regain some control, the memories come rushing back. The weight of what he's done overwhelms him again, and unable to face it, he turns back to alcohol to escape his thoughts. Still, one concern remains: Isabel. Drunk and barely holding it together, Jason goes to a soup kitchen and asks Sister Christina if she's seen her. Tina hasn't, and seeing Jason's new appearance, she becomes suspicious, thinking he might be involved in something illegal. Jason brushes it off, claiming his clothes are a gift from God. To thank her for her support, he gives her £500 and asks her to keep an eye out for Isabel. Faced with such a large amount of money, Tina is tempted. She starts thinking about what she could buy for herself. But almost immediately, doubt creeps in. Where did this money really come from? After a restless night, torn between right and wrong, Tina seriously considers turning the money over to the authorities. but her superior advises her to simply keep it and use it. Little by little, Tina realizes that even if she reported it, the authorities might not handle it fairly and could end up keeping it for themselves. Convinced by that reasoning, she finally decides to take the opportunity. For once, she chooses to do something for herself. She buys a ticket to attend the farewell performance of a ballet star. With a newfound sense of determination, she uses the £500 to secure her seat. Meanwhile, Jason's condition continues to get worse. Physically weakened, suffering from broken ribs and an infected wound, he falls into a feverish state, overwhelmed by traumatic memories and increasingly intense hallucinations. As a fugitive wanted by the Ministry of Defense, seeing a doctor isn't an option. It would mean getting caught. With no other choice, he turns back to Tina. Fortunately, she has some medication available and gives him antibiotics to help stabilize him. But despite everything, there's still no sign of Isabel. Before leaving, Jason writes down his address and leaves it with her, just in case the girl ever comes back. In a rare moment of honesty, he tells her she's an angel, hinting that, deep down, he still believes he can change, maybe even redeem himself. Back at the apartment, disgusted with what he's become, Jason makes a drastic decision. He pours all his alcohol down the sink, determined, for the first time, to face his past instead of running from it. Without wasting time, he takes the owner's luxury car and drives through the city, putting up missing posters in a desperate attempt to find Isabel. Not long after, he receives a voicemail from her. In the message, Isabel tells him to stop looking for her. She claims she's now working with the same thugs, trying to save enough money to leave London, and promises she'll reach out when she's ready. Hearing this gives Jason a sense of relief. But he has no idea what's really going on. In reality, Isabel is being forced into prostitution by those same men, and that message was recorded under threat. Unaware of the tragedy unfolding behind the scenes, Jason begins a true journey of self-reinvention. He stays sober, gets back into training, and tries to take control of his life again. Eventually, he lands an honest job in the kitchen of an Asian restaurant. But very quickly, he goes beyond basic tasks, working twice as hard, taking on more responsibility, and doubling his pay by handling special clients as well. His physical abilities and efficiency don't go unnoticed. The manager quickly realizes Jason is being wasted in the kitchen, so he introduces him to the owner, Mr. Choi, and that's when Jason discovers the truth. The restaurant isn't just a restaurant. It's a front. Behind the scenes, it operates as a cover for the local Asian mafia, and Mr. Choi isn't looking for a simple driver. What he needs is someone who can handle far more dangerous and clearly illegal work. Driven by the chance to make more money, Jason accepts without hesitation. Before long, he becomes the gang's problem solver, the man they call when things get messy. Thanks to his deadly skills and ruthless efficiency, he quickly rises through the ranks. In no time, he becomes Mr. Choi's right-hand man, building a small fortune along the way. But surprisingly, Jason doesn't spend it on himself. Instead, consumed by guilt, he focuses on the future, trying to secure financial stability for his ex-wife, Anna, and their daughter, even though he still doesn't have the courage to face them. Despite his illegal activities, he continues, in secret, to donate food to Tina's soup kitchen, making sure the homeless have something to eat. Then July comes, and with it, a moment he's been dreading. Jason finally finds the strength to go see Anna. But the encounter is brutal. The moment she sees him, her world shatters. She screams, breaks down in tears, unable to hold back the pain she's been carrying all this time. Jason had disappeared from her life, and the consequences were devastating. Without child support, she lost her job and had to make desperate choices just to keep a roof over their heads. Faced with this reality, Jason is overwhelmed. He tries to reassure her, asking her to hold on just a little longer, promising he'll fix everything. Then, without staying, he leaves her a large sum of money and walks away. But just a few days later, everything falls apart again. Tina brings him devastating news. Isabel is dead. The police confirmed it, and she even shows him photos of the body. Faced with this unbearable truth, Jason is shattered. A deep, crushing pain takes over. Then Tina reveals the autopsy results. Isabel was raped and died from drugs. At that exact moment, something inside Jason breaks. The anger takes over. He completely abandons any illusion of staying within moral limits. The idea of being a good criminal is gone. Now, only one thing matters: revenge. Driven by uncontrollable rage, he sets out to find the two men responsible for Isabel's abduction. After violently interrogating several people, he finally uncovers the truth. Isabel wasn't just exploited. She was brutally murdered by a disturbed client, a man in his 30s with a noticeable scar above his eye. But finding someone like that in a city this big is like searching for a needle in a haystack. For a moment, Jason considers going to the police. But as a wanted fugitive, he knows that's not an option. He has no choice. Once again, he turns to Tina, hoping she can pass the information along to the authorities for him. Later, during a rare calm moment, Jason gives her a long dress. They agree to meet at an art gallery, not realizing that this moment could change everything between them. When Tina arrives, wearing the flowing red dress, Jason is stunned. She carries an elegance he's never seen before, and instantly, there's tension in the air. The attraction is undeniable. But overwhelmed by what she feels, Tina quickly puts up a wall, making it clear she's only there to help him gather information about the killer. After Jason shares everything he knows, they leave, and later end up in a quiet alley, slightly drunk, almost freed from the weight of everything. In that suspended moment, Tina begins to dance, her red dress flowing around her. For the first time, she seems to forget the convent, the rules, everything that's been holding her back. The atmosphere shifts, becoming intense, almost unreal. And carried by the moment, she leans in and kisses him. But the moment their lips touch, reality hits her hard. She freezes, then pulls away immediately, rushing off without another word. And yet, that brief moment was enough. Jason understands. After that, he goes back to his life, continuing to work for the mafia, while waiting for news from Tina. On her side, things are changing too. Jason's presence is starting to draw attention, especially from the police, who eventually trace their way back to Tina. To protect him, she makes a difficult choice. She betrays her own principles and fabricates a story to cover for him. When they meet again, Tina is deeply shaken. She's torn between what she feels for Jason, emotions that are growing stronger, and the fear of what it could mean for her life as a nun and for her already fragile past. Her frustration grows even more when she realizes the police barely care about Isabel's murder, simply because she was a sex worker. Faced with that indifference, Jason makes a decision. He can't rely on justice anymore. He's going to handle things his way, through violence. On the way back to the convent, Tina finally lets her guard down. She opens up to him. She confesses that she once dreamed of becoming a ballerina, but her father forced her into gymnastics instead. Then, her voice heavier, she reveals that during her teenage years, she was abused by her coach. For years, she endured it, until the day she couldn't take it anymore. She reached her breaking point and took extreme measures against him. After that incident, she was sent to the convent, where she spent years trying to escape her past, the pain, and most of all, the guilt tied to what she had done. Over time, dedicating herself to charity became her only way to find peace. In her eyes, desire is a sin, almost something forbidden. And yet, Jason's presence brings back emotions she thought she had buried long ago. Unable to handle that inner conflict, she makes a radical decision to request a transfer to Africa starting October 1 ST, putting distance between herself and everything that's shaking her. Meanwhile, determined to get justice for Isabel, Jason takes action. He strikes a deal with a powerful female crime boss. He agrees to carry out a dangerous mission, one no one else is willing to take, in exchange for her resources to track down the killer. Jason completes the mission with ruthless efficiency, without a single setback. True to her word, the crime boss gives him an invitation to an exclusive gala, where the killer will be present on October 1st at 7:30 p.m. The long-awaited day finally arrives. Jason asks Tina to meet him at a park, under a simple excuse, to take photos of him. But deep down, they both know this could be the last time they see each other. Expecting the worst, Jason asks her to take several pictures, for his daughter and for herself. Little by little, he drops the tough guy facade and asks her something honest, something vulnerable. Does she think he's a good man? Tina is touched, but reality quickly catches up. She tells him she's leaving for Africa the very next day. Shattered inside, Jason tries to stay composed, asking about her plans, but their emotions become harder and harder to control. When it's time to say goodbye, Tina makes a different choice. Instead of running away, she chooses to face what she feels. They go back to the apartment to spend one last night together. But their moment is suddenly cut short by the unexpected return of the owner, forcing them out into the street. In one final attempt, Jason asks her to run away with him, but Tina refuses. Firmly, she reminds him that life isn't a fairy tale, and that their past and their reality make their story impossible. As 7 p.m. approaches, Jason goes to see his ex-wife. There, he exchanges a few words with his daughter, who doesn't even recognize him. Silently, he leaves behind the photos and all the money he's earned over the past months, expecting nothing in return. Then, without looking back, he heads straight to the gala. After completing his mission, he finds himself once again alone, drunk, wandering the streets. Tina quietly joins him. Without saying a word, she places a scarf around his neck and sits beside him. Slowly, Jason comes back to his senses, and for the first time, he truly opens up. He tells her about his past, about the moment he lost control and took the lives of 5 innocent civilians, shattering their families forever. That memory has haunted him ever since, driving him to seek refuge in alcohol. As he speaks, tears begin to fall. Behind the hardened exterior, Tina sees the truth. A broken man who only wants one thing: a normal life. The next day, true to her decision, Tina leaves for Africa, leaving behind her red dress, like a symbol of everything she's choosing to let go. On the bus, she finds a letter from Jason along with a photo. In that goodbye message, he tells her he wants to change, to become a better man, despite everything he's been through, and everything still ahead of him. In the end, this story isn't just about a man on the run. It's about a man at war with himself. Jason thought he could run from his mistakes, hide behind a new life, or drown himself in violence to forget. But the truth is harsher than that. You can't erase your past. You can't run from what you've done. And most importantly, you can't move forward without facing it. This film reminds us of something essential. It's not our mistakes that define us, but the choices we make after them. Jason did the unforgivable, but instead of staying trapped in his guilt, he chose to act, to protect, and in his own way, to make things right. Because in the end, redemption doesn't come from words. It comes from actions. And sometimes, becoming a better person means accepting your past, while still choosing to do good. So the real question isn't, can we change what we've done? But rather, who do we choose to become after that? If you enjoyed this recap, let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.